guys, it's Janet Wakeland with RemARKablyCreated.com. In today's One Take Wonder video, we're going to look at this beautiful new lacy designer papers from Stampin' Up. This new lacy paper can be found in the brand new 2018-19 Stampin' Up catalog. This catalog goes live on June 1st. I just received my shipments of catalogs today, so if you do not have a demonstrator that you work with and would like a copy of this, make sure that you use the links in the YouTube description below to go ahead and contact me for your copy. I wanted to share some fun samples with you. I wanted to share some tips with you ahead of the release of this paper. There are so many possibilities, and we're only going to look at just a few of them today. A couple of cards just to share with you quick here, just to kind of get you excited and to draw you into what I'll be sharing with you. Simple, quick little note card here. You can see our beautiful new velvet ribbon. Here is our little egret from the Lily Pad bundle, and you can see that. Mossy Meadow is back as an ink. Woohoo! Here's two cards where we've used the lace as stencils. And then here, we just did tone on tone, colored it. I don't know if you can, there you go. And a little different layout there. And another one of the elements, and we just went ahead and sponged that gray. And I'll show you a couple of others in just a few minutes. So the paper is all separated by tissue paper. And I recommend that you keep the tissue paper handy because it is really easy. You can see just, let me move this off to the side here for just a second. Maybe that doesn't help much. Hold on one second. It does come on a nice heavy duty cardboard. So let's pull that out for just a second so you can see this real well. I've got lots of paper around me because we're going to be spritzing in a minute. But can you see just how detailed that is? But because it's so fine, it's really, really easy for this to get tangled up. And so you always want to try to keep it flat. In addition, what I have found is because of how detailed it is, working with a paper trimmer to cut it is not a good idea because it snags. It literally kind of drags through the cut. So you're going to want to do one of two things. If you have a chopper style trimmer, that does work great. Or you're going to want to simply just use your regular scissors to go ahead and cut. And if you're trying to get this to a certain cardstock size, so for example, oops, here I have a 1/4 sheet. So I would just simply lay that down, and now I'm going to cut and use that as my edge here to work with, okay? So I'm going to just do that to help me get the size that I want so that I have those. Some of it may still stick off the end of the card, and once it's glued down, that's great. Also, in terms of adhesive, the self-adhesive sheets are great, as well as your fine tip glue. And a lot of it's going to depend on how much is being exposed on your card and things like that. You have 12 by 12 sheets. You have 4 of this big, beautiful one, would be perfect for framed art. And then you have 4 of this sheet here. And let's pull this one off. And let's lay this one down for just a second. And you're going to notice that this one's vanilla. It's actually vanilla on one side and white on the other. So even without recoloring it, you have some options without, having to do anything. It just depends on what side that you pick. So now this one is a little bit easier to cut with your trimmer. And what you find is you've got some short border pieces over here, which are really pretty on cards and things like that. So you've got some great elements to use on your cards. You've got 6 pieces here that fit on your card fronts. And then you've got some more border pieces. You could actually use this one as a really pretty belly band and wrap some gifts with that. So that's a really fun, pretty piece there. So with these ones, you can indeed use your trimmer on these ones here. What I found that helps is if I take first and I cut the long 12-inch side and that long border piece that I said could be used as a belly band. Of course, it can also be used other ways. So what I found is if I cut that off first and have this element, which again, you can also just do a really quick piece on a card with that. And then if I shift it and cut the other borders off, and then again, you've got all those fun borders to work with. You could even just use it whole as well for a really fun belly band or element. And now I can take my trimmer and I can come down through these elements here. So that just kind of helps with the cutting part of it. And let's just finish cutting all of these so we can use them to play here for just a second. Okay, so that's just kind of the cutting. Again, this big fancy one, you need to freehand cut or use with a chopping tool because the blade on a trimmer just drags right through those. You can also come in if you wanted just a special element out of this, and you could do just, they're not tied in that close together that you can't come in here and pull just a few of the elements out that you might want to work with. So you can come in and just do a little quick snipping, and then you'll have pretty little lacy elements that you could go ahead and add to your projects. So let me just finish snipping this one out because we're here working on that. Let me get this one over here. And so just like that, I can take little elements out. Oops, and watch, see how easily they can get tangled up together. I should have moved that off to the side a little quicker. But then I have that pretty little element that I can add to a card. So now let's look at a couple of different ways that we have of altering these. And this is just scratching the tip of the iceberg. But of course, we'll be looking at other ideas in the coming weeks and months. So let's just start first with a sponge roller, and let's pull in some of our beautiful new colors. This is Mango Melody. It's one of my favorites. And our new pads are a two-step. You lift like a cosmetic case, and then you slide in. They may be a little tight when you first get them, but the absolute best way in the world to loosen them up is to simply use them. And the more you use them, the looser they get. So it works great to do that. So we're just going to use our sponge roller, and we're going to just ink it up real nice. And we're just going to roll it across. We have these bright, happy flowers, bright mango flowers on our card. And what's cool if we're using, okay, a little abstract happening there. I could put a little piece of painter's tape to hold it in place so that that doesn't happen. So, suggestion, note to self, use painter's tape in the future. So here I've got these beautiful flowers. And in addition now, I have that second piece that I'll be able to add to a card front. So again, you can quickly layer, alter them simply by using a sponge roller. So then another one that you have, and another way, let me just make sure, let me pull all the cards all the way over here so I don't have to keep doing stuff, is let's put this one away just for fun, just to show off some of our great colors. And let's pull out our Highland Heather. Oh my goodness gracious, this stuff is so, so pretty. And let's just take our flowers here. And in this case, I'm going to take a dauber, and I just want some of my flowers to have color. I don't necessarily want the whole thing to have color. And I'm not really worried about what I'm creating underneath, I'll be very honest. And so I'm adding the Highland Heather with the dauber. So let's see if there's any other. Yep, I missed a flower here in the center. And then I could come back in with another green or something like that, but I can simply start to add some color very specifically in certain areas of the lacy piece, just with a dauber, and coming in and just kind of adding that soft sponge look with the dauber. So that's another option for you. And of course, if you're like most crafters, that little stencil piece that you started to create, you won't end up throwing away. So then another option for you, let's take this one here. And you can indeed color, whether it's with blender pens or whether it's with our markers. And I would use the brush tip, and I'm just going to lightly lay it on its side, and I'm going to come in and I'm just going to start to color. So of course you can color and add color wherever you want to. You could actually take the time, and whether you use the point, then if you're getting real detailed, or the brush tip again, but you're going to be able to add color with your blender pens and or your markers. We've got all of the new colors in a set of markers that will be available. And so just coming in and coloring is going to work as well. Something else that you're able to do, and before we do that, let me just show you a couple others that I've already kind of played with and had done, just some backgrounds. So here again, just coloring that whole back, just sponging, just using some of that. Just doing corners. There's another one, this one. We actually spritzed, and you're going to see that in just a second. Just laying them down. So lots of possibilities using them that way. Oops, that's a blank card that we didn't play with yet. Look at this one. I love this basket look. So look at this. So you're going to just be able to do some really, really fun backgrounds with them. So something else then that you're able to do with them is, let me pull in this one for fun. Oh, wait a minute. I've got just some lacy pieces done for you. Let's flip this over for just a minute. So look how pretty that is with the different colors, and it's kind of fading out just a little bit. And then you've got some colors on that one as well too. So not just the backgrounds on paper. But now let's flip this over, and let me close up my ink pad and move it off. And I have 3 different colors of re-inkers. Anybody else excited that Coastal Cabana is back? Oh my gosh, I love it. And I have our Highland Heather again and our Granny Apple Green. These are 3 colors that are actually kind of decorative features in my studio. So this will be perfect for what I'm doing here. And I'm going to put a couple of drops down inside. And then we're going to go ahead and take and add rubbing alcohol. I like to use the strongest one out there. The stronger the alcohol, the quicker it will dry. But by all means, just use what you already have in the house. And let's put that in there. And I'm just going to give it a little test spritz. Okay. And so I'm just going to intentionally add. Oops. It's okay. I like that artsy look. Sometimes things happen that you can't repeat again the second time. And so it's like, oh my gosh, I really wanted, that look again, and it's hard to recreate exactly the way that you want it to be. So we'll do a couple more. And I'm just squeezing, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drops. It's always easier to start lighter. You can always darken it up. But it's hard once it's dark to lighten it up without really wasting anything, by having to dump that out and use it somewhere else. And these spritzers are sold 2 to a pack in the catalog as well. I think they're just something like $2.95. I mean, they're incredibly inexpensive. Look at that Coastal Cabana. Isn't that pretty? Okay. And let's do one more here. And we'll just set that one aside. It's not going to leak. And we have our last one, and we're going to do our Granny Apple Green. Oh, I'm a bright green kind of person. Actually, I just love all the colors. I'll be very, very honest. And the truth is, with me, I tend to like color based on season or mood. For me, color can definitely set a mood. And so I love all colors. There's very few I've ever met that I don't like. And it's funny, I know that we're retiring some colors, and some of us are definitely feeling sad about a few that are retiring. But the moment you start playing with the new colors, you get over it. You really do. So you're just going to add that extra color. You would let it dry, and you're going to have that pretty print underneath as well. So let me show you something here that I've done. I'll show you a couple of them, and then I'll show you the finished product. So, oops. Here was one that we did with pastels. And then there's what it would look like. And can you imagine that framed with a beautiful bold black greeting on the front? So for those of you that have any type of those scan and cut type machines where you can do some laser graphics, words and stuff like that, that would be really pretty. Of course, we can always die cut letters as well, and create our own words with our die cut letters too. So there's some fun options for you there. So that's one. And then this was one that I did with the Regals, so a little bit bolder. You've got your actually Bermuda Bay, rich raspberry, and crushed curry was used on this one. But just look how pretty even just the overlay is. I can't wait to cut that apart and use that on cards or do something with that. And then just for fun, just so you can see this up close maybe a little bit better, this is our Dazzling Diamonds Glimmer paper. And if you put this on top of that, you're going to end up with that glimmer showing through the opening. And that's what I did for this framed art piece here. This is just a 12 by 12 frame. The vinyl is actually on the front of it, so I can always change out. So now that I've gotten my hands on the Highland Heather and I've got the piece that's sprayed with the colors that match my craft room, I'm going to go ahead and change out what's behind this. So lots and lots of fun possibilities. Make sure that you really pay attention to that paper in the new catalog. And it's just a small taste of a lot of the beautiful products that are coming in the new catalog. So don't forget to use the link below to make sure that you're requesting that catalog. And you can also use the link below to come find me over at RemARKablyCreated.com for close-ups of the cards and everything that I showed you tonight, guys. Thanks for watching.